Hello again, ladies. This is video 14. This is the ball control model. Now, one of the things that coaches try to explain to athletes in all sports, but we're going to talk about volleyball today, of course, is ball control is king. Okay, to be able to control the ball longer than the other team does in soccer generally equates to a win. To control the ball longer in football generally equates to a win. To be able to control the ball better than the other team in volleyball generally equates to a win. You do not have to be more offensive to beat another team. You have to control the ball better, because part of ball control is the offensive task of putting that ball to difficult places or simple places that they're just have a difficult time with, your defense that you're playing against. So we're going to talk about this in a way I've never tried before, so bear with me. Here goes. I want you to consider your chances for success as a fraction. Okay, so let's say you have somebody hitting a 250. That means that 1/4 of the time we set them the ball, they're going to get a kill. Okay, now they might get a kill a little more often than that, but we take away all their errors. So 1 out of 4 balls that they hit equates to a kill statistically. So let's just say that their statistics are going to be what we'll go with. We won't argue with they got more kills, they got some errors. At the end of the day, they're hitting 250 because 1 out of 4 balls that goes to them gets a kill. Okay, so that's under fairly ideal situations, let's say. Let's say you're a 250 hitter if things are normal. If things are bad, like the set is not very good, you become more like a 1 in 6 or a 1 in 8 of the time hitter. Or there might even be the case where there's such an amazing set or such a bad block, you might get a kill 1/2 of the time. So who would agree that somebody that starts off here might end up getting better with a better set or with a worse block, or might end up getting worse with a worse set, or even worse still with a better block? Does that make sense? We start out at some baseline place on hitting, and we can move either direction. Okay? Now, not all people are the same. We're just talking about a regular, most of the time, 250 hitter. And I wouldn't say that these upgrades and downgrades are too far off base. Okay? I mean, I could even make one of those better than 1/2, because if you get a great set and they're a fine hitter and there are no blockers and everybody on the other side of the net is dead, it may be a kill almost all the time. So let's kind of work with this. This is just hitting a little bit of setting and blocking in our way. Let's say that we have a 250 hitter with a setter that's imperfect. So they rarely get a good set. That kind of makes that 250 hitter into a 1/6 of the time successor instead of a 1/4 of the time successor. Again, I don't want to argue the exact numbers. I want you to get the logic and the point of this. The point is their chances of success go down. Does that make sense? Okay. So their setter's not very good. Well, what if, not perfect. I'm not a bad person. Just they're not perfect. They're not always putting up a decent set. Sometimes it's hittable, but not great. Okay. What if that imperfect setter is getting imperfect passes? Well, this kid that really could hit a 250 is stuck at their success rate might be 1 out of 8 if they're having a decent day. Well, wait a minute. We just did passing, setting, and hitting. We haven't talked about their block. What if their block's pretty good? What if they're big kids, jump well in decent places? Not superhumans, just good. Well, now we're talking about maybe 1 in 10. Well, wait a minute. What if their defense is really good? It is not outside of the realm of possibility for someone who considers themselves to be that good. And they might be. That's who they could be on every given play of a certain match, because their setter is imperfect, receiving imperfect passes, hitting against a pretty good block, and against a pretty good defense. You'll note I said pretty good, because a great block and a great defense could do way more damage than that. Way more. So what I want you to do is I want you to consider this kid and the kid we kind of created. Because, you guys, I love you. Our setters aren't perfect, they're learning. Our passes aren't perfect, they're learning. We're playing people that are better than us when we play in the open division of tournaments. We just took 41st out of, 60 some odd teams. Most of the people are better than us at that open level. So this is okay. And this also is kind of who we are. mean, that's kind of what our stats were. Those of us that were lucky enough in the hitting stats to be positive. We had several people in the negative both days. So this is still positive. You can understand, people hit negative don't achieve this by a lot. The negative people are getting more errors than kills. So this is not something you go, oh, I would never do. Many of you did, and many of you will in the future. I hope not for you, but I kind of know the way volleyball goes. When you're not perfect and you have imperfect people around you and you're playing good people, it's hard to somehow magically maintain this level. I think we had 2 kids all weekend that hit 250. So this isn't us yet. We're working for this. All these factors, the setting, the passing, the other team, contribute to kind of downgrading our levels of success. Okay? So let's consider the model like this. Let's say we have a 1 in 12 chance. I have in my hand here a 12, well, I should probably show you the 12. I have a 12, where's the 12? I have a 12-sided die, okay? I used to teach math when I was doing 4th grade and 7th grade, so I got all these statistics toys, right? And I actually have a 4-sided die, but we'll just pretend it's this 6-sided die. So we'll say that we're not even going against it. We'll do this because we've got the right dice for it. So we've got a 6-sided die and a 12-sided die. If I told you I'd give you $100 if you could roll a 1 or 2. I'd give you $100 if you could roll a 1 or a 2. Which of these dice would you choose? The dice where 1 and 2 are 2 of the 6 chances there are to roll, or would you pick 1 and 2 are 2 of the 12 chances there are to roll? For those of you that have been reducing fractions long enough, that's a 1 in 6 chance and a 1 in 3 chance. Your chances are considerably better with this die. Nobody that has a brain would pick this die to roll a 1 or a 2 if they're going to get $100. They would pick this die where the success comes more often. And success comes more often is what we're interested in when we do volleyball. So ball control is what moves our chances forward. It is exactly the thing that moves our chances forward. By the way, we're not done talking about ball control. When we talk ball control, remember that hang on a second, I want to make sure I have enough time left. Okay, remember that your ability to hit spots is part of what creates this person. So I said that not all hitters were equal. This is a 250 hitter. A 250 hitter's very normal good. That is nobody extraordinary. Again, they're not even doing their job on a normal good team. Normal good job would be 300, well, I think we did say 250 for us because we were starting. So 250 would be our job. We're working to upgrade, okay? We want to hit 300. We want to do 400. We want to do amazing things. It would be great. So the way you do that is you get a bigger skeleton. That's not an option. Jump higher. That takes time, probably more time than we have left in the season. Or get better skills and accuracy. That we work on in practice with our PDGs and our drills and things like that. So if you could orient to the cross court and open up a difficult shot that people usually don't block and hit that a few times and keep hitting it if the block is too dumb to move, or when they move, you have that second option or even that hard third option down the line, that creates, even though the not perfect setter and the not perfect pass, you know what? You might upgrade yourself to here through the use and cunning use of skill acquisition and use in games. Learning things in practice through experimentation and transferring them into success during play, which would be awesome because then on the plays where we do get a decent pass. So let's go here. Hey, we got a decent pass. That upgrades us 1. Hey, the center did a pretty good job. That upgrades us 2. And you've acquired new skills. Dude, on a less than perfect play, but with no obvious gaping errors, you're still a 1 in 6 chance instead of getting us stuck down here a lot, which is clearly what we were doing in the last tournament. This, again, we're our better players. You cannot argue against this. That's not me. That's not us. That's exactly who we are. We were barely positive for the tournament. That's exactly statistically who we were. I don't want you to feel dumb. I do want you to feel informed. I want you to know that even though we all like you, love you, want you to be here, and we know you can do this, sometimes it's not what we're doing statistically. And this is a statistical talk to try to get you to value ball control. It is a model to try to explain it to you, how incredibly important it is, how even if you think you understand it, you don't. I'm still learning how valuable ball control is. I'm still learning ball control is not just passing, not just the ability to put the ball somewhere with a set, not just the ability to put some ball somewhere with a hit. It is unbelievably important and confusing and profound and chaotic. It is incredible. You can't understand how important it is. And it's the reason we're not better, because we keep getting downgraded. We keep getting downgraded because we haven't figured out how to control that ball. So if you're not incredibly fired up to do anything that has to do with getting a ball somewhere so that we can make plays happen next practice, then there is a problem. And the way we do this and stay safe with our egos and our intentions is we better the ball. We better the ball. I apologize for the sloppy writing, but I have very few seconds left. Better the ball means, you know what? We passed a ball that's probably going to lay us at a 1 out of 8. It's just not a great pass. But our setter finds a way to better the ball, boop, shoving our chances to here. Our hitter has done the research, the experimentation, and the failure and successes and categorizing those field files in their brain, and they have upgraded themselves with the amount of options they have back to a 1 in 4, where we can beat good teams. I want you showing up for practice fired up for ball control, because that's how we control our chances for success. Ladies, I look forward to the next practice because I'm ready to help you with this. I need you to be working on this ball control, increasing our odds instead of decreasing our odds as fast as we possibly can, so we're ready for our first recruitable tournament, Las Vegas. That's the end of my time.